Guys, Mustang here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the AGL Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku that got his EZA. Shout out to the STR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta that got left out, guessing because he's not on GT Heroes, and obviously that's kind of the theme with these EZAs, right, is that they were units from GT that were on the teams for Gogeta and Omega. And unfortunately, whilst it's very cool that Dokkan gives us the GT Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, he's not on GT Heroes because he wasn't actually in GT. But anyway, we've got this AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and he seems like he could be pretty good. He's an all types lead, which it's only 70%. That's not really important. Useful for link leveling, I guess. But his super attack is supreme damage and raise attack and defense for 3 turns. Now, I know some people were unaware, like, Dokkan is weird. It would be nice if it just gave us actual stat percentages for everything so we always knew. But this is one of these units that's a lot older from his original release. And he has the older style of attack and defense raise. So even though it says raise attack and defense, we would normally, when we see that in someone's super attack effect, assume that it means 30%. But for this Goku, it's actually 50%. And because it's for 3 turns, it means if he's on rotation, when he comes around the next time, he's still going to have those raises for his start of turn defense, which is quite interesting. So he's got attack and defense 150. Per GT Heroes ally attacking in the same turn, additional attack that has a high chance to become a super, 100% attack when attacking, and 70% defense when receiving an attack. Now bear in mind, it doesn't say GT Heroes ally self-excluded, so it means on a full GT Heroes rotation, you have 3 GT Heroes characters. That means he's going to do 3 additional attacks that each have a high chance to become a super, 300% extra attack, and 210% defense when receiving an attack. When all allies are GT Heroes, he also gets another 100% attack and a chance to crit and damage reduction 50%. So he's getting 400% attack. He gets 210% defense when he gets hit and has 50% damage reduction. And then if your HP is 50% or less, or when there's a GT boss's enemy, he gets guaranteed crits and guards all attacks. Now, it's unfortunate that guard is tied behind that kind of restriction, because 50% or less HP, obviously it's going to come up every now and then, but it's not necessarily going to be something that you see a lot. And then GT boss's enemy. It would have been awesome if it was just extreme enemy, because even that is a bit restrictive, because we have some events that are tough with superclass enemies, but that would be a little bit more of a wider scope, because really at the moment we just have like, what, the Omega stage of the GDC special battle. We just got the Shadow Dragon like boss rush thing, so it could be interesting to try him out in there. Annoying with like the things like locking and stuff like that, but that would be a good phase for him. Guard and guaranteed crit. The fact that he builds up crit anyway on a GT Hero, still has 50% crit on a GT Heroes team, if that's going to be realistically the only place that you use him, because you could use him on like Super Saiyan 3, Goku Family, that sort of thing, but really he's just going to be used on a GT Heroes team, which means in terms of his hidden potential, you really just want to go full dodge and then put the rest in additional, because he's already doing multiple additional attacks during the turn, which means his hidden potential additional has multiple chances to proc, so he doesn't really need it to be that high. I don't think I've changed mine since we got his EZA details, but yeah, mine was already full dodge and then a bit into additional. He's got 3 crits, obviously he's got one of his nodes randomly as crit. I guess it means if I'm ever using him in a situation where he's not going to have the GT allies or a GT boss's enemy, at least he has a 6% chance to crit, I guess. So I'll probably leave it. It's not worth a stone to change it, I don't think. But yeah, we'll jump in and see how we go. We're on the Mortal Will boss rush thing again. I do think this is a good stage for showcasing units, especially because we get the Immortal Zamasu stage. I want to float off Pan so we can get the effect of her multi-turn support when she's on the opposite rotation. But Goku's at 200k defense start of turn, so obviously when he gets hit, he gets an extra like 400 odd k, because he gets 210%. So that puts him up to 600 and something with 50% damage reduction, which obviously that's not good enough for any sort of difficult content like bosses, super attacks or anything like that. But obviously he's not a slot 1 unit, he's going to get to super attack first, so it won't be great against AoEs. But if he gets a couple of supers off, bearing in mind every single one is a 50% chance, and he's getting 3 extra attacks from his passive, with the 3 GT Heroes allies on rotation, including himself. Which means with the best RNG possible, the hidden potential coming in as well, he can super 5 times in one turn. And then remember, like we said, all of those stacks are then going to carry over to the next rotation. So that should certainly be interesting. Hopefully the Super Saiyan 4s don't just immediately destroy this Goku. They have to build up a little bit, and they've got type disadvantage. It's not like when we have AGL Gogeta on turn 1 and we have to not put him in slot 1 if we want the showcase unit to actually do anything. I've mentioned it before, but it is funny, like showcasing these units on like the GT Heroes team is often, like, especially if the unit isn't a slot 1 unit, you don't want to put them in slot 1 on turn 1, but then you kind of have to, otherwise Gogeta just destroys the enemy and we don't actually get to see the showcase unit do anything. So in this instance we should be fine. They're getting a few attacks off here, but like even if they crit now, it's not like they're going to finish them off. And then we can see what kind of numbers this Goku can put out. Now he does have a couple of, like, he has like limit breaking form, like the Super Saiyan 3 link, which no one else on the team really has. Even the AGL Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 Goku doesn't have it. But we'll see how we go. We're at 17.6 million here for the first attack. Obviously we've got built-in 50% chance to crit. Then we got up to 19 million. Then we get, so far all of his additionals have become supers. Unfortunately that means he is going to finish him off here. So we got 3 super attacks, so we get 3 stacks to carry over to the next turn. So yeah, obviously we're just going to start attacking Zamasu here so we can get a couple of turns for our units and see what we are looking like here. This is useful for that Goku as well, because, like, again, we could have quite easily got another 2 attacks on that previous turn from Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but obviously Goku Black just ran out of HP. But that's pretty good. Literally the first 2 additional attacks from his passive with the high chance to become supers were both super attacks. So he just supered 3 times, got up to, what was it, like 19 mil. So still dropping like just over 55 million attacks that worth of attacks. And then post super defense, not going to be anything too crazy. I don't know if he even gets, does he even get to 1 million on that turn? So if his start of turn was like 200k, he's only getting 100k per super. So he's getting to just about 1 million, but then he has 50% damage reduction, which, you know, will be okay against normals in some of these events. It's going to be the second turn that is really going to be the interesting one here, when we see not only his start of turn defense, but then obviously as he then supers in that second turn, he's just getting the buffs on top of that defense as well. Because 50% damage reduction is really good. Against some of the tougher bosses, him not having guard will be a bit of an issue. The 2 combined are so incredibly powerful defensively, like having guard and damage reduction. So it is a shame, like I say, that it's locked behind a GT boss's enemy or 50% or less HP. If it was an extreme enemy, that would be so good, because any of these new tough events from the GDC, we'd be able to use him and have the guard, which would be just another little bit on top to help reduce the damage that will be incoming. So that would be very cool, but it is what it is. Just going to let Gogeta get all of his attacks off here against the immortal Zamasu. Additional after additional, you love to see it. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is just so good. His GT Heroes team is super good. So yeah, Gogeta will eat this post super easily. Yeah. Alright, so we got the Super Saiyan 3 Goku here. Now, like I say, unfortunately he doesn't have like the Super Saiyan 3 links. So we end up with Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, GT Fierce Battle. No one on the team's going to have limit breaking form. But yeah, start of turn 2 he's at 800k. So that means when he gets hit, he gets 210% extra. So that puts him straight up to, what, he's going to get 1.6-ish when he gets hit. So he goes up to 2.4 something million with 50% damage reduction. Like, that's a little bit more like it. Like that, we're talking like tanking a 5 million damage super now at this point. And then of course if we were on low HP and have the guard active, we would be significantly higher than that as well in terms of the damage we could take. So we'll go ahead and attack Zamasu so we can get the potential for the most attacks off here as possible. And then see, this will be, you watch, this will be the turn, now that we can get as many attacks as we want because we can't kill the enemy. This is where he's just going to do like 3 additional normals or something. I do love the Super Saiyan 4's 18 key super still. Final shine into like the big golden dragon fist attack thing. Looks super cool. Alright, we keep getting our additionals off here. Keep getting these stacks in for the Super Saiyan 4s. And we'll see what we get from Goku. Because remember, it's not only the defense that carries over from the previous turn, it's the attack raising as well. So we saw him as high as, what was it, 19 million? So, see what he starts off the turn as here. So he's at 18.8. So it's not a huge carryover in terms of attack. Yeah, see, then we get an additional normal. Then there's a super. Okay, so it's up to 20. And we got one more from the passive. Okay, good. There's a super as well, 21. And then do we get the hidden potential? We do not. So another 3 super turn. It's still pretty good. Still doing, what, like 60 million worth of attacks. I think the thing with him is, obviously, when you think about all the options on the GT Heroes team, because he's not providing any support or anything, I think with some of the great options we have now, especially for the characters designed to kind of float in slot 3, like the Vegeta or the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, like, I feel like there's a lot of situations where, like, you just would put the units that you want to run on the team, and then you've run out of space before you get to putting the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the team. Like, I don't think he's bad from what we've seen in any way, shape or form, but, like, he's not super crazy. He's not like, okay, he must be on my GT Heroes team, right? He's like a good slot filler if you're missing any of the really big, hard-hitting characters. Because with the Super EZAs for Goku and Vegeta, the EZA for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, like, obviously we've got the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the GT Goku Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 from the 10th anniversary. Like, there's just too many slots. There's too many characters and not enough slots on the team, I should say. So, like, this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I don't think he's bad. I just think that, unfortunately, he's surrounded by so many other, like, better options for the team. Which is unfortunate, because he's pretty cool. Like, it's nice, it's unique to have some of these. Super Saiyan 3 is my favourite form. Having, like, Super Saiyan 3 GT characters is cool. Like I say, including the Vegeta, despite the fact that he gets the cold shoulder from the GT Heroes team. I do think it's kind of funny for them to even include him in the game, which I'm assuming he must have come from another Dragon Ball game first, right? Because obviously it doesn't happen in GT at all. So, like, I guess I get that the point of the GT Heroes category is just supposed to be everyone from GT. But if you're going to include a Vegeta in the game that is called, like, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta brackets GT, like, we know he wasn't actually in the show, but just put him on the GT Heroes team. Because I think he was one of those rare examples when they got their EZA, if I remember rightly, that the Vegeta was actually better than the Goku. So it would have been interesting to see what his EZA would have looked like, especially when we see, like, the Super Saiyan 4s, the 2 years, their Super EZAs, the fact that they are both quite similar, but with some differences in terms of, like, who gets what, like, abilities and stuff. I think his EZA could certainly have been quite interesting. But yeah, so start of this next turn, we're at 928k, thanks to the buff from the STR Pan super attacks on the previous turn. So let's work out, I can check exactly what his defense would be here. So 928, 152 plus 210%. So when he gets hit, without taking into account any super attack effects or anything, when he gets hit, he would have 2.8 million, almost 2.9 million defense with 50% damage reduction. So that means with his post-super actually getting buffs, like on this turn, if he was to get supered in slot 2, like let's say those attacks in slot 2, if either one of those enemies were actually able to do like a 6 million damage super, he would tank it for double-digit damage. So that's pretty good, all things considered. For what is essentially just a random, like, he's not even what we call a banner unit, because he wasn't like an actual banner unit for a Dokkan Fest. He's just a general pool random SSR, like sub EZA. I would say that that's pretty decent. Like, his attack stats aren't crazy, and the defense is like good, but not anything too insane. I think that solidifies exactly what I was saying before, where he's just like a solid option for the team. But there are characters that you would put on the team who are, you know, that little bit better. And GT Heroes, of course, gotten so many buffs during the celebration, with the icing on the cake being the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that just came out. Very much designed to go in slot 3 if you're running the double AGL Super Saiyan 4 Gogetas in slot 1. And that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is not dissimilar to this guy, right? Like, he doesn't have guard, he just has damage reduction, he builds up stats for multiple turns, but like, he does a very similar thing, but just does it better than this Goku. Like, all of his numbers are higher. And then he has the active skill turn as well, which will always be pretty good. And then, yeah, unfortunately, you can see here we got the... we very much got the potential man turn for Goku, where he just did a whole bunch of additional normals, which is not ideal for then carrying over to his next turn performance. That's the thing, you want him to consistently be putting out multiple supers, because if you get near to the end of an event and he does that, where he just does a whole bunch of like normal attacks, we'll see his start of turn defense at the next turn is obviously going to be that little bit lower. I mean, I guess we could get lucky with the... I know he floated off Pan on the last turn. Yeah, so like, we've got no multi-turn support coming into play on this next turn either. So his defense on this upcoming rotation is going to be significantly lower than it was before, because of him just doing a bunch of additional normals, which, you know, is what it is. Unfortunately, it's going to happen sometimes. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. I suppose we should float you off, because you will at least give your buff to Goku, because of course Super Saiyan 3, he's a power beyond Super Saiyan character. So let's go ahead and do this. Just try and get rid of Rose here. I don't think the Great Ape will be able to finish off Rose, so we will have to let Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta take care of that once this Giant Ape phase runs out. But yeah, I wonder what they'll do with the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I feel like, because he's a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, even though it's GT, like, I imagine that they'll, hopefully, unless they just forget about him completely, they'll drop the EZA for him, the tech one, and the physical random Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. They'll drop their EZAs when the adult Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta comes out, because then obviously it's relevant to, like, a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta release. Because even though, as I say, they were counterparts, the AGL Goku and the STR Vegeta, they came out at the same time, they awakened at the same time. I feel like that's the main reason why the Vegeta got like snubbed in this celebration, is because he's not a GT hero. Whereas like all of the EZAs that we got are on the GT Heroes team for Omega, for Gogeta, or the Omega team, right? Because they're all GT bosses / Shadow Dragons / Inhuman Deeds, whatever. They're all on his team. Whereas the Vegeta getting the EZA, like, he's not on these teams. He's not on the team for the part 1s either, because he's not Fused Fire or Future Saga. So it's kind of funny, like, if he'd gotten his EZA with these other units, like, he wouldn't have a team to be run on. So it's a little bit of a shame, because, you know, hopefully they do get around to it. And I guess the positive thinking side, which whether that will be true or not, because it's a Vegeta unit, the positive thinking side, I guess, is at least if he doesn't get his EZA now and he gets his EZA a little bit later, then there's the potential that his EZA will be a bit better, right? But I guess we'll see. Because like I say, this Goku's pretty solid. If the Vegeta gets the EZA a little bit later on and is therefore better than this Goku, that's probably going to be good for him. But let's go ahead and see. So after a not so great turn in terms of supers, we do have some defensive support. Yes, he starts this turn at 300k, which means when he gets hit, he's only going to be at like 1,000,000 defense, which is pretty bad. And this rotation is pretty bad as well, because the super's in slot 3, which Pan's probably just going to get absolutely destroyed. Is there anything I can do here? I mean, I guess I could just try and kill him, but hit the Dragon Fist of Gogeta. Okay, yeah, we'll probably... Actually, to be fair, Gogeta probably just kills him now. Goku might not even actually get a chance to attack, because Gogeta's just that guy. Well, that is only my one, so it's my 55% one, but he's got the support from Pan on the rotation, and we got the active skill buff. So yeah, it's like 70 million attack stat. So Goku might not get to do anything here. which again is also another downside to the way his things work, right? Because he's getting the stacks for multiple turns on his super. So if something like this happens where you're floating him in slot 3 especially, because he's not really going to be a unit that's like main rotation worthy for the big GT Heroes team, there's going to be multiple turns where he doesn't actually even get to attack, which then means he's carrying over no defense to the next turn. So that could indeed make him quite the liability. So I think we've seen all we need to see from this guy. Like he's maxing out as long as you get a couple of supers in a turn. He's maxing out at being around like just under 1 million defense start of turn, which means when he gets hit, he's actually close to like 3. But yeah, it all depends on how many supers you got on the previous turn, the support. So he could be a liability in a few situations for sure. But, I mean, overall, for a random, like, sub-EZA, I think he's pretty decent. Against the GT boss's enemy or having the low HP where he has guard will definitely help a lot as well. But you could definitely get into some awkward situations, like I said, where if he doesn't get to even attack on one turn, his defense is going to be so low the start of the next turn that that's not going to be great. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think of AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku down below in the comment section. When do you think we'll see the EZAs for the Super Saiyan 3 GT Vegetas? Do you agree that it will be the Diamond Vegeta release? I guess we'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.